Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. Now, if I have to tell you, like for example, we are living in India. Now, just imagine that in our own country, it so happens of course, all of us Indians are staying here. Of course, there are certain foreigners as well. They are legal migrants who might have come here for business, for job, or for pleasure, for tour, etc. But just imagine that in this country of ours, it so happens that slowly and steadily you realize that more than Indians, foreigners are staying in our country, and that too illegally, the migrants who are illegal migrants in India. If this is the kind of situation happens in the coming future in each and every state, not just Northeast, but each and every state near your area, my area, everywhere, how would we feel about that? Now, a similar situation is being probably happening in the state of Manipur. So, is this a recent phenomena? Of course not. It is not a recent phenomena. It has been happening since decades. So, we will see what is the reason for this to happen, what is the degree of this that is happening, and what can be the solution for this. All this and much more is what we are going to see in our today's current affairs lecture on the demographic shift in Manipur. Before we go into the details, important announcement of the new batches that are starting. The regular batches starting from 17th April and 12th of May. So make sure you enroll before that. These batches are going to provide you holistic resources for your UPSC, be it entire coverage of the syllabus through the live classes, the test series for prelims, mains, everything. The classes go from 10 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. in the evening from Monday to Friday. Now, there are some aspirants who are working professionals or have college commitments, etc. They can join the weekend batch that starts from 19th April. Everything else remains the same. It is just that the classes will happen only on Saturday and Sunday. One important announcement for 2025 aspirants, that the All India Prelims Mock Test Series is happening, which is free of cost. You can enroll for Legacy IAS Academy's free All India Mock Test, get the instant solution, and very importantly, you will be given live discussion sessions as well, which will help you improve your marks. Having said that, let's go into the news, that is the demographic shift in Manipur. Now, what is happening? Now, Manipur's growth, any population or population of any country, state, city, anywhere increases because of the natural growth rate. What is the natural growth rate? That is the rate of birth and the rate of death. They are there. So the net impact will be either an increase in the population or a decline. If the rate of birth is higher than the rate of death, then of course naturally the population is going to increase. But there is another factor. People can migrate out of the city or the state as well as migrate from outside of the state into the state as well. So in Manipur, what is happening? The population is growing, but the major reason is not the higher birth rate than the death rate. Of course, that is there, which will lead to some amount of increase in the population. But more than that, it is fueled by migration, and that too illegal migration, that is immigration. So that immigration is illegal immigration that is happening, and this is surpassing the natural population growth. So if the natural population growth is X person per 1,000 individual, the illegal immigration's reason for increase in population is higher than X is what is happening. Now, why is that the case? If you look at the northeastern states, here specifically we are talking about Manipur, it is bordering what? It is bordering Myanmar, and India has a porous border with Myanmar. And of course, porous border, the movement is not restricted, movement is allowed, and a lot of people are illegally entering and never returning, and not just staying within the limit but also going way beyond inside the state as well, which is leading to an increase in population. Now, increase in population, fair enough, when population increases we provide with resources, but the issue is this population is not of Indians, it is of foreigners, majorly from Myanmar. That is creating a demographic shift. For example, regions will have more of foreigners than of Indian citizens within the boundary of India in the state of Manipur. That is the problem. Now, Manipur has experienced this usually high decadal growth rates consistently, and it has been consistently exceeding 30% per annum for the last 3 decades, is what has been suggested by IPFM, that is Indigenous Peoples Forum of Manipur, is getting analyzing this and coming out with this data. Since the inception of Manipur in India, what has happened is Manipur's population has consistently grown at a growth rate of more than 30%, hinting towards the unnatural growth rate, or rather the growth rate due to illegal immigrant. Now, what is the degree of demographic shift that we are talking about? The degree is quite high here, because there are at least 966 new villages that are seeking recognition, in addition to the already 2,803 that are existing villages which are seeking recognition. So the immigrant population has come, they have settled down, new villages have been created, and now these villages are seeking recognition from the government to recognize them as villages of XYZ name. Right, so these villages are having the majority of illegal immigrant population, which is humongous. If you're talking about thousands of villages themselves, which will have probably lakhs of immigrants that we are talking about. Now, the growth of villages in Manipur as recorded in the Manipur Gazette, it reveals what? It reveals a significant demographic shift. So this data is revealing a significant demographic shift that is happening in Manipur. Now, another issue along with this is getting more complex, because at the same time the Supreme Court on March 17 has given the center direction to complete the delimitation of the constituencies in few of the states, that includes the state of Manipur as well. So Supreme Court said to the center that they are given 3 months to complete the delimitation exercise for Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Assam and Manipur. Now, why is it making the issue complex? What is delimitation? Delimitation is nothing but the bifurcation of a state into different constituencies for the purpose of election to Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assembly. That is what delimitation is. Now, delimitation is done based on the population. Now, new villages are coming up, new population is coming up of illegal immigrants. So when this delimitation happens, including those illegal immigrants, it will so happen that in your own constituency, of your own state, of your own country, the Indian citizens themselves might find themselves in minority and the illegal immigrants might be in majority, thus affecting the entire demography. Not just that, but the polity of the country or the state as well. So voting behavior, votes, etc., all these issues may come up over there. Now, you may say that they are illegal migrants, so how they can vote? Many people are also getting their Aadhaar cards made, election card made, all those things are also happening rampantly, that needs to be arrested, and arrested in the sense that kept under check. So this is one other issue that is happening. If delimitation of constituency happens without taking into consideration who are legal inhabitants and who are illegal immigrants, that will create a problem for the people of India and in general, and people of Manipur in particular. Now, what can be done? The IPFM have also may also want to do this, but presently the Methi organization that is there and certain political leaders, they are seeking one solution. What they want to do, they are asking the center to carry out the National Register of Citizens exercise. They want the central government to do the NRC exercise first and then go ahead and do the delimitation, which absolutely makes sense. What is this NRC exercise? The National Register of Citizens is going to list down the people who are citizens of India and who are not citizens of India. So whoever is an illegal immigrant will be clearly declared as an illegal immigrant, and then subsequently the delimitation can happen, taking into consideration only the Indian citizens and not the illegal immigrant, which is probably a very logical thing to go ahead with. However, if this demand is put forward further, center may face some other criticisms, because a criticism of National Register of Citizens is what many people may not have the documents even though they are Indian citizens. So that is a gray area. So what can be done? People who are probably, what can be done is NRC can go ahead, but at the same time give time for the people to prove their citizenship. At the same time, who are absolutely found to be illegal immigrants can probably be then deported, etc., or at least not included while the delimitation process is going on. This can be the way forward in this regard. Now, what are the concerns here? If the illegal immigrants are there, they are also people. So what is the issue as such? Of course, there is an issue, the issue of ethnic dynamics and conflict. Manipur is a state which consists of tribal people as well. Now, the tribal peoples are there, they have their own ethnicity, different ethnicity is there in Manipur. There is already violence that is happening in Manipur, ethnic conflict is there. Now there will be citizens of other country illegally migrating to India, which will create more diversity in the ethnicity as well as the population and demography, leading to more and more conflict. It will also create issue for governance. It will lead to a lot of social issues, social crimes. It will lead to resource distribution issue and issue of distribution of opportunity. The opportunities, the resources are limited, though, so that may not reach the Indian citizenry, rather the illegal immigrants of another country. All this and many more issues can arise out of this demographic shift that is happening. So what should be the way forward? The first picture that you saw in the introductory slide was of the slide talking about people who were illegally migrating to India, were sent back previously. So that thing can be done. They can be in a dignified manner sent back to their home country. Until the time they are here, probably their food, clothing, shelter can be taken care of, but should be sent back in a dignified manner, and probably that's when the delimitation can happen. But at the same time, delimitation cannot wait for too long, because the sending back of illegal immigrants might take much more time. So the time is now ripe to start the NRC, probably taking into account the issue of illegal immigrants and ensuring that delimitation commission or delimitation, when it happens, it accounts for the illegal migrants and do not take them into consideration while delimiting the constituencies. Thank you.